Hey there, welcome to Things Dan's Way. So, clearly, this bike wasn't designed for that rock garden. That is really steep, really loose. But what is this bike for? So every other video out there has had people open up this fifth wheel mate bike, drive it around the driveway once or twice, and then give glowing reviews about how amazing it is. It's ridiculous. I am at 208 miles on this bike. So I feel like I'm a little more qualified to give you some actual impressions on the good, the bad, and the ugly of this bike. So in this review, I'm gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna tell you what's great about this bike, what's so-so, and what I think is gonna fail first. And then ultimately, who is this bike for? And just kind of jumping to the end, this isn't an off-road jumping mountain bike for $500. This is an awesome commuter. If you wanna watch that, don't go away. This is Doing Things Dan's Way. Let me see if I can get off this hill without dying. Hi. This is the kind of environment that this bike really shines at. You can go on these kinds of just simple walking trails that are just kind of meant for your daytime hikers and just kind of enjoy the beauty of nature and only sweat as hard as you want to. That hill I just came down, call it a mountain if you will, that was really not the environment for this bike. This is more like a street bike slash dirt trail bike, and it will do that all day, every day. Okay, let's talk about some of the good things about this bike. This is a medium frame bike, so it means it works really, really well for medium-sized riders. So this is a bike for people like 5'10" and below. It's not gonna be like a 6-footer type bike. I wouldn't think that works. I'm 5'8". 170 pounds, and this is a really good fit. I could definitely see it being used by someone that's shorter, and of course a couple inches taller, no problem. Let's go ahead and cut away to some footage that I took in my garage talking about the kind of the interface, the handlebars, and all the controls there. But let's jump to that footage and then we'll come back to the trail. Hey, so I just got back from a ride. That was one of the longer ones. I just wanted to show you what my setup looks like. This is a typical setup: helmet, clear glasses when it's foggy out, some headphones that don't go in my ears so I can still hear traffic around me. Those are the AfterShokz ones. See, I went 19 miles here, and let's see, 35 volts in the battery, hour and 37 long ride, 162.5 miles so far. So I'm really happy with it. I actually like the hand grips here that kind of give you a place to put the palm of your hand, kind of spreads out the weight. The throttle on it is responsive. There are different modes you can put it into. What I love is that, especially when you're in a high gear and you come to a stop, like at a light or a four-way stop, you can just give yourself full throttle, and it just gets you up and going and through the intersection quickly. The shifter is really quite precise. I had to do a little bit of adjusting on the derailleur and back, but it really shifts very nicely. Each gear is very precise. This is a little turn signal control, and this is kind of, thumbs width away. The cell phone mount works fantastic, as I said before. I have the light control, the horn, which is really, really loud. On the user interface, you can kind of set different levels. So you can see 3, 2, 1. Those are the main things that I'm touching here. The mirror here really, really helps me. Once you get going, you can give this guy a twist and be able to look either straight behind you. The last thing you want is for cars to be coming up on you and you don't know if they're coming. So again, those headphones that I was wearing that don't plug your ears, I strongly recommend that you wear something like that that's going through your bone conduction as opposed to plugging your ears, because you need to be able to hear what's happening around you. Let's keep going down the trail and we'll talk about some other things. Also, look in the description below for any updated comments. I'll pin my own comment down below if I have updates to this. If this thing has failed on me in some way, if I've had a warranty service issue or something, I'll put it as the first pinned comment. So definitely jump down in the comments. There's no way to update a video on YouTube, but I can update comments in the description. So look at the description, look in the comments, and you'll see if I'm recommending something different or other upgrades or other accessories, that kind of thing. Okay, another beautiful spot to stop in the shade for a few minutes. So let's talk about a couple good things about this bike. So one thing I really liked about this bike is the gearing system on it. Now, it's not perfect, but for, again, a $500 bike, it's pretty darn good. The shifting via the Shimano shifter up here is really precise. Every upshift and downshift is perfectly one click at a time. The gearing back here is 7 speeds. And what I wish, this would be like the okay part of this, is that it had either a larger front gear or a smaller and a larger rear tooth. There's not as much range in the gears as I would like. At max, you can pedal this thing about 20 miles an hour, and that just feels like, you know, that's as fast as you would like naturally want to pedal. Now, another good thing I'll point out on this is the tires. These tires are not meant for the crazy off-road downhilling. I have burned through probably half the tread in 200 miles on the center of the rear one here. The sides still look pretty decent. I've been doing a lot of sliding down hills with those. The fronts look substantially better at 200 miles. And it's a pretty soft compound. And I found it, for any kind of commuting, this is going to be perfect because it'll give you, wet weather traction. I would recommend, by the way, getting the fender kit for it. It's out of stock right now, otherwise I'd have it on here. And luckily it's summer for me, but I would definitely put fenders on here because you'll just be spraying mud all over yourself and all over the back of the battery. Let's keep heading down this trail. There's an epic bridge ahead. So let's talk about some more of the okay features in this bike. It does have a front headlight, which is awesome, but I would always suggest that you put a helmet worn light as well on top of whatever you have on your bike. That way you can actually see around corners because you can turn your head and look without having to turn the handlebars to look where you want to go. This bike does not have a rear light, a brake light, or just a running light. This is a light that I added, and I feel like that makes a really big difference when you're, a ways back. Cars are coming up on you, just draws some attention. Even the back of my helmet has a little flashy light on it as well. So the more blinky flashy lights, the more attention you can draw to yourself on the street, the better, for sure. Now, something I put in the category of not great, but not absolutely horrible, is the cranks. As you can see here, when the crank is in the down position, it's awfully low to the ground. And so if you're turning really hard and pedal, you actually could strike the ground. But the beauty is the cranks are long, and so you get a lot of leverage. So it's kind of a trade-off between short pedals and long pedals. Now, this is the mate version of this bike. There is both the Discover and the Rover. The more expensive version of this bike has 27.5-inch tires, and it has a 48-volt battery. And so that gives you a little more power on the high end, more torque with a 48-volt motor. But then it also gives you more ground clearance. It has the exact same aluminum frame on it, so it's identical, but the extra 1.5 inches and a little bit fatter tires are gonna give you just that much more ground clearance down here. So that would be a good reason to go with the little more expensive version of this bike. These trees are so cool. Okay, let's talk about a couple ugly things on this bike. The first one I'll talk about is the front forks. And the front forks, they're really the most major issue, I would say, with this bike. And that is that they're a spring shock, meaning they have a spring underneath the cylinder, but they don't have a return. So if you go over a hard bump, it'll top out on you. I mean, these soak up the bumps. They do a perfectly okay job, again, for commuting. I've been able to go down trails. I'm not totally destroyed by it, so that's great. But if you rock the bike back and forth, hold the front brake and rock the bike back and forth, there's some slight flexing happening like this. I don't like that at all. I feel like in the long run, if you were to use this as a mountain bike and beat it up like I was earlier, this bike, the front forks would be the thing that would fail first. I'm actually kind of struggling to come up with a bunch of bad things to say about the bike. The front forks are kind of my obvious first one. The pedal issue is kind of like probably number 2 is like, that would really ideally be different. And the 27-inch bike or 27.5 would take care of that problem, at least help. Okay, let's get out of the beautiful forest area and let's hit the road, because the road is really where this bike shines. So out here on the road, this bike does really good. You put it in high gear, high speed, and you just cruise. Now call me lazy, but one of the features on this bike that I really like is this mode. You press and hold the down arrow or the minus sign, and the bike rolls at 3 miles an hour all by itself. So like going up this hill here, I can just walk beside the bike while I cool down before I get in the class, and I'm not having to push the bike at all. It's literally just rolling all by itself. If I let off the button, then I can be pushing the bike up the hill, which is fine too, of course. But if you're trying to cool down at the last minute of your ride, just pressing and holding that button is a really slick feature. It also works if you're trying to walk or ride next to someone who's walking down the road, whatever. The throttle is just kind of always too much, and this is just kind of a silent way of just getting to roll along. So that's pretty cool. And of course, going upstairs, you're just gonna keep your finger on the button and just pull it up. Oops, my hose caught on this bracket here. So anyway, that's what it'd be like just to commute to college. I can get to this college in like, I don't know, 8 minutes from my house, and driving is maybe 5. And I can actually park a lot closer to class, so that's kind of cool too. Okay, from here, I'm gonna head home, get some groceries on the way, and finish this video up. And what I'll do is I'll press the arm button on here, and that will arm it. Okay, now it's armed. Let's go shop. So we're back here. See if I shake it. It chirps at me. I don't want to do that again because it'll just go blasting. Okay, and now we're back to run mode. That's only half, 2/3 full there. Okay guys, I'm finally back home and got some groceries I need to get in the freezer, my frozen blueberries. But yeah, so that is the story on this bike. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you have a question, of course, ask me the question. I think this is an excellent commuting bike. The thing about riding like a 10-speed or a lighter bike or a bike with smaller tires is that when you hit ruts in the road, debris in the road, you almost run over a squirrel, you hit huge potholes, and they're in the shade and you don't even see them. You want a bigger tire, and you want at least a little bit of suspension to make that tolerable and to make it safe, quite honestly. I've been completely blindsided while, watching for traffic and hit really large ruts, either up or down. And this thing has just been able to roll right over them because it's got enough tire to do so. Do I need a mountain bike to do commuting? Well, kind of, yeah, honestly. This bike does a good job of that. Again, there's a little bit more expensive version and a little bit cheaper version. If you got a little bit more money to spend, the $750 version of this that has a 27.5-inch tires, a 48-volt motor, and 48-volt battery, of course, that one probably is a worthwhile investment. All that being said, I think this is a good choice for a commuter bike for $500. As of now, I'm at 216 miles on this bike in the last month. And I can tell you that if I didn't have this bike, I would not have done this level of exercise at all. On my watch, I've been closing rings like crazy. I would not do that much riding and get to see that much territory and go on that kind of ride if I didn't have a bike like this. Fully loaded with groceries, you can kind of see how it's hanging. It's a good job of holding stuff. So hit up these other videos here for content like this one here, my other e-bike reviews that I've done, the small little mini versions, which are a lot of fun, and they can do mild commuting as well. They're excellent for camping. Of course, this one will be really good for camping too. So hit up those if you're interested. You can subscribe and see more content like this when it comes out right down here. Hit up the description for all the other things, and remember that God loves you and you are blessed.